Gunline. We got a fire mission coming down. I'm your host, Lopez, and you're listening to the On the Gunline podcast Midweek Memo. Let me let y'all know right now that this motherfucker is probably going to be a bit of a long one. So you will see me pausing and resetting the link out and pausing and restarting the link out again. It's going to happen because I'm a broke motherfucker and this shit is free. Y'all motherfuckers ain't helping me out. So you can't buy a t-shirt. Too fucking easy. I'll make it happen. Anyways, it costs too much money to get that pro on fucking Zoom. I checked it out. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce the guests that we have today. You have Lee Hunt, Jesse Urena, James Norman, and Elijah Machuca. And thank you all very much for being here for reals. I think that this is a very nice little diverse crowd that we have here to discuss the topic of what is American fucking culture. And again, it started off with me and Urena talking about it a couple of fucking weeks ago. And I don't know what American culture is. And I would like to get a definition from you all. Not a definition. This ain't fucking Webster's dictionary. But for example, Chooks, if I was to ask you, dude, what is your idea of American culture? What would that be?
I don't know. I've been thinking about it since you told me the topic, and it is a hard one to answer, like what exactly it is. But to me, and we hear the term tossed around that the U.S. is a melting pot. So we are a country of immigrants. That's why people flock from all over the world. They will risk life and limb to come here so they can have whatever it is that they choose. They can do whatever they want. They can bring all their cultural norms. They can bring them here, start them here, or leave all that in the past, come here and adopt what is a mixing bag of this American system that we have that allows just freedom to do whatever it is that you want. To me, that's the American culture, is just the freedom to be able to do whatever it is you want from wherever in the world you come from. Come here, we accept everybody to do whatever it is that you want within, the boundaries of the law. But outside of that, you come here and do whatever you want, whatever your cultural traditions, norms are, come here, do them. Leave them behind, start fresh, start new. That's America. Now we are just the land of everything.
Right on. Norman, what do you think?
Well, I agree. I mean, I think that if we look at it through the lens of say, countries across the pond, wherever, the way that they look at and see America, I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean? Because I think that's the best gauge of what American culture is by looking at it from outside. And since we've been conditioned to exactly what, Chuk said, it's a melting pot. So I think that us believing that it's a melting pot and actually, abiding by those social norms, so to speak, that's how we view it. But American culture itself, I don't think that we can accurately define it, since we're inside it, Right. So, because I mean, last time I was in I was in England in 2005, and the way they viewed Texas is the TV show Gunsmoke. That's what they thought it was like. So I mean, they were asking, and people were showing me a cell phone, have you ever seen one of these before? And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, oh, we have a, I played into it. I was like, yo, we had a phone at the general store, but that's about it, But, I think that, I mean, maybe from an outsider's perspective, I mean, it could be a little skewed, but I mean, us defining it, I honestly couldn't.
Gotcha. Too easy. Lee Hunt, American.
I'm fucked up. I thought you were going to go in order and go with Urena, but I see what you did there.
I'm going in my order.
Oh, I was gonna say I know what you did there, but so American culture, I think that there are some in America that believe, not all, but some in America that believe there's a certain stigma of American culture. Now, with that being said, I do believe in what Chooks said as well, just to piggyback off of Chooks, that the American experience is just that. Like you said, listen, you come over here, bring your culture if you want to bring it. If it can contribute to American society, boom, that's good. Listen, we got good Greek food. Greeks had to immigrant over here. We got good Haitian food, good Jamaican food, good Mexican food, good Italian food. The Polish, not too much a fan of the sausage. You know what I'm saying? But,
Shots fired at Kowalczyk. Shots fired at Kowalczyk.
yeah, but no. So all jokes aside, but no, it's very right, man. I think if we really, I don't think we have a culture. We really don't have a culture.
Okay.
We may have culture appropriation, but we don't have a culture itself. You know what I mean?
I gotcha. Urena, your thoughts?
All right, so I think that we were born from two sides that always disagree. All right, so we're always going to be a red and blue country, and then that's what our culture is, because the one uniting thing that kind of, regardless if you're red or blue, the one thing that we have in common is the belief or our interpretation of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. We feel that is our foundation as to what we can say. At the end of the day, like I can say, you know, I've got freedom of speech. My kind of freedom of speech is going to be different from a Republican or a Democrat or whatever the case is. But we still believe in that piece of paper. That is our one uniting thing that gives us our identity as a country. Right. We're divided. Or we're not divided or whatever. But we all can agree that this one document is what gives us our right to believe the way we believe. We have a president who half the country won't agree with and the other one will and stuff, but both sides still agree that one figurehead, that one position, regardless of what the politics are, because like we don't, when we have a transition of power or whatever, we don't have like a genocide in the streets and stuff. We might have like riots or whatever the case is, but we don't have beheadings of the opposition party out in the news or whatever. It's tame compared to other countries and their transitions of powers. We won't hang our political figures for everybody to see in front of the media or whatever, even though it seems like that. But we still believe that we have a system. We still believe we have a document that gives power to that system. And I think that is our identity, not so much our individualness or whatever. I mean, being individuals is also part of that big identity that makes us American, right. Which is different from other countries. But that is kind of how I see American culture.
You're the one person that actually stated something that Kowalczyk, because I was having this discussion with Kowalczyk. For the listeners out there who don't know, Kowalczyk and I are pretty much we're like gay lovers without being gay. But here's the thing, like he said that there's got to be a baseline when you discuss like American culture, and that baseline has to be the Constitution. The Constitution of the United States has to be the one thing that we all can agree with is our foundation, right? And then from there you trickle shit on top of it. Yeah. He explained it a lot better than I did, but that's why, like, when you said that, it like, okay, I can see where your frame of mind is. And I'm sorry if my internet is unstable. I just got a little shit saying that my internet.
Before we jump from that,
yeah, go ahead.
Can I comment on Urena's? I loved what he says. Absolutely, the Constitution is the glue that binds us. That's what makes us America. But I will say, as far as the fact that we don't have public executions, I disagree with that. We do. Only we're the leaders of the world. We're not going to do it in actual physical way. We're doing it digitally these days. Censorship is the modern equivalent of a lynching, of beheading people in the public square. Right now, we're on the public square. I mean, so when you say that people don't get lynched from, in the public square, that's wrong. Where's Trump at right now? Trump has no voice. He's been lynched. He's been cut out of the public. He's been banned from Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. So how is he supposed to talk to people? That's the modern day equivalent of a lynching, of a beheading, of executing somebody in the public square.
So basically it's a, what's the word? An exile. He's been exiled. Yeah. But before we get political, before we start getting political, I get the point, and gotcha. Point taken. Not political this conversation today, y'all.
Everything's political.
Everything's political. Somewhere or another. So here's my thought. Like when I was thinking of what is American culture, the first thing that pops into my head when I think about American culture, honestly, that pops into my head, in my mind, is fucking Midwest. For some reason, I think fucking farmlands, flyover states, dinner table, people gathering around, eating together as a family. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think American culture is. I think of the people that came here while it was already inhabited by the Indians, but the settlers that came over here, you know, in the 1600s. These motherfuckers didn't come to a place that was already built. They had to build this motherfucker, right? So I think of the hard work that they had. Oh, don't you go with that bullshit, all right?
Yeah.
All right. I get that there was slaves, but not all the slaves did all the work, all right? So fucking, anyway.
I also don't think that Indian is the preferred nomenclature.
Let's ask Chosky.
I mean feather, not duck. So
Let's ask Coffee what he.
I think that's worse.
They'll be all right. You know what? It's okay because I'm half Indian. You know what I'm saying? The Europeans raped my Mayan people, but we don't get respect like the fucking Cherokees and the fucking Navajos. Now, fuck the Maya. We only discovered the goddamn universe, discovered zero, invented soccer. Yeah, sure, we
Some
sacrificed.
of you Mayans, you know what? I'm not even gonna get into it.
All right. But anyways, back to the culture. So back to the culture. Yeah. Okay. So there were tribal Americans. We'll call
Oh my
them. There
God.
were tribal Americans here, and you know, the settlers came and they fucking built what is now America. So what I'm getting at is that it came from motherfuckers that were leaving an area where they felt oppressed and said, "Fuck you! I'm about to do my own motherfucking thing. I'm going to this new motherfucking country and building my own shit." And that is what runs through the veins of every American. That we will fucking do what it takes to fucking be on top, to be number fucking one. All right. Somehow or another, through the generations, that's gotten lost. Because now motherfuckers just rather get a goddamn check in the mail by taxes that others are working for. But we're not gonna get political. So but the culture that I'm getting
It's
at.
impossible not to get political.
You know,
Everything's
but
political.
so for example, what I think of, like, you know, when I think culturally, what I think that the melting pot you guys are talking about, I think that should done evaporated. All right, because honestly, there.
It didn't evaporate. I think the left killed it.
Oh, well, I don't know
I think
about all that.
so.
But
Go ahead.
go ahead. All right. So, I mean, the whole, like, you know, give me your tired, give me your poor, you know, like that whole outlook. I mean, it's inscribed on the Statue of Liberty, you know, like, I think that we've been pretty good about accepting people that are oppressed in their home nations. So, I mean, as far as like a melting pot goes, I think we're still living by those original, you know, I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time thinking. I don't know what's going on today.
So let me ask.
But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
What contributions? Okay. So American culture basically is an amalgam of every other culture that's come here. Is basically what we are, right?
Yeah.
So what attributes make an American an American?
Well,
I
I
don't
think
think
we have
it's
to kind of look at what culture means. I mean, because obviously, remember we have music. These days we got film, news, like all. You say not to get political. I mean, I'm trying not to. But when you're talking about American culture,
Right.
I mean, it is. It's our music. It's our movies.
Right.
It's everything that we see on TV. Everything that we get on our phones, all the Instagram posts and the tweets and all that, that's all part of American culture. So to say keep politics out of this American culture,
I'm not saying keep it out of it, but I
know, I'm trying. But I'm saying that's all kind of left in there. So when you say that American cultures kind of took a shit, I agree. But where's that stem from? Where's it come from? It's come from the fact that every one of these Instagram influencers, Twitter influencers, movie stars, musicians, everybody, they're all hammering down on what they want the culture to be. And they get all their followers to just suckle at the teat of the influencer. And that's where American culture is right now. It's lost in this, like, I want to be the next influencer. That's, to me, that's what's wrong with American culture right now, is everybody wants to be the next influencer because it's easy and it's free as long as you put in the work, whatever. And it's a sad state of where not just American culture, just culture worldwide, everybody sees the status of these music stars, movie stars, and that's what they see to be. That's what the aspiration is right now, is to be somebody with a voice.
Let's go with Hunt, and then we'll go with Urena.
All right, so I know you said like everybody's wanting to kind of, you know, be like the next influencer and be like this person and be like that person. But let's break that down. What is that called? That is called capitalism. If I can capitalize off of that, then we should be celebrating it, because that's what America is so hyped up about, is about capitalism. So if I can capitalize off of the dumb people, why not capitalize off the dumb people? And then not only am I going to make money for myself, but because of Reagan and trickle down economics, I'm going to be able to provide more jobs for people. So I do believe that like the influencers need to be there, because they're going to create more jobs. Because if I'm a huge influencer, right, on social media, I'm going to get to the point where I'm going to need an assistant. I just hired somebody. Somebody just got a job.
Creating jobs.
Right?
Absolutely.
Now, if I have a big house, I might need to get maid service. I've just hired more people. So I do believe our culture, if we really want to think about it, I do believe we have a culture of capitalism. If we're going to say what is our culture is capitalism.
Absolutely.
All right, Urena, your thoughts.
Yeah, we're definitely a capitalist country as much as you know, if you talk to a Marxist wannabe or communist wannabe, you know, they still have capitalist beliefs. They still will pull out their iPod and stuff out of their iPhone out of their wallet or pocket or whatever, and, you know, send a text message or get on Facebook. Facebook is one of the biggest, you know, capitalist institutions out there, even though it's a little bit, it's kind of leaning towards censorship and restrictions and control of what you take in as far as news goes, and, you know, what you see is heavily regulated by whoever their moderators are. But, you know, it's still a capitalist country that benefits from money generated from people. I think as Americans, we pride ourselves on being number one in the world at everything. And if we're not number one, we try to be number one, because, you know, you always hear about other people from different countries wanting to immigrate here, but, you know, rarely do you see like a wave of Americans trying to immigrate to Canada or Mexico or whatever. There's a reason for that, because we are the world's best. That is our perception. And as Americans, even though we disagree, you know, we still feel like we're entitled to live up to that expectation. When people disagree with you politically or whatever, and they want to push their agenda, it's because they, honest to God, believe that we as Americans should set an example for the rest of the world. Even though you may not agree with that example, you know, there's still, you know, that is still a drive behind what they're trying to say or what their message is, because they want to show everybody in the world that, hey, I'm an American and I stand for this. So if you were to kind of categorize what, you know, our American ideals, I think that's what you would look at if you wanted to describe an American.
Dude, so basically right now what I've gotten so far, as far as like what is American culture, two things stand out. All right. One is pride, being proud motherfuckers, and two, business minded or capitalistic, I guess. All right. And so those two things, I guess we can say, are American cultural identities that we have. Because I'm confused as far as what is our identity as a country. There's so many fucking regions in our fucking nation. You got the fucking Northeast, you got the Mid-Atlantic, you got the South, Southwest. Fucking Texas is its own fucking culture, you know, and then you got the West
East Coast, baby.
So, I mean, with all those, and even in between that, you have subcultures. So, you know, you can't say one or the dominant is going to be what the American culture is. But if I was to ask you, give me an American fucking traditional food, what would that be?
Barbecue.
Who knows?
Barbecue.
Barbecue.
Hamburgers, really.
Barbecue.
You know, barbecue.
Hamburgers, hot dogs.
Well, and that's pretty fucking lame if y'all think about that shit. You go to other countries, and I get it that in this great experiment called America, we're still in our infancy. We really are. We're what, as a nation, a little bit over 200 years old, right? Compared to other fucking civilizations that have been out there for thousands of years. You want to go to fucking China? You want to go to Korea? Look at Asia, dude. Asia is thousands and thousands of years old. And when I say Asia, I mean the Indians too. All right, because I hate how they separate. They get mad if I call an American Indian an Indian, but yet if I call a motherfucker, if I call an Indian and Asian, they're gonna be like, motherfucker, do I look like this? No, I'm Indian. I'm just saying.
It is a part of Asia, so I mean, technically.
Well, anyway, what I'm getting at is like, you know, we're still in our infancy. I think we're still trying to find our identity as a fucking American culture. What is the American identity? You know, during World War II, the American identity was the ass kickers from fucking New York out there fucking kicking ass, you know, and taking names. You know what I mean? And then, I mean, I'm trying to see what your guys' idea. My idea of American culture when I was a kid, I'll tell y'all, I used to watch TV a lot. All right. I grew up, no, everybody knows I grew up in the hood. So to me, being exposed to outside of my neighborhood, that to me was American culture, which would be like shit like that was like Whiteville, you know, to put it in a overgeneralized way, you know, watching fucking TV shows like fucking Who's the Boss, like fucking what's that other shit, man? Mr. Belvedere, you know, shit like that. To me, that's what I thought American culture was, because inside of my house, it was Central America, Chief. I lived in El Salvador inside of my house, you know, and when I,
tortillas, baby.
bro. And then when I went outside, I was in fucking South Central. So it was all blacks and a few Mexicans. And then while I was avoiding getting my ass beat by them or fighting them, you know, I was trying to get an education. And the only white folks I saw were the fucking cops and the teachers. So that was my idea of American culture, was what I saw on TV. And then I got older. All right. Then I joined the military and I was exposed to more. And then within the military culture, that's when I started realizing that's more of an American culture, what we had in the military, than what America itself perceives itself as, if that makes sense. What do you think, Norman?
Well, I mean, like you kind of touched on it a little bit. Like, I mean, like take South Korea, for example. Like South Korea is South Korean. Like everybody you look at, they are all Korean people. Like take like Italy. Like they're all Italian. They all look a certain way. They are all Italian people. But if you look at, you know, the United States, like walk down the street in New York City, like you're not seeing just one race of people. Like, I mean, anywhere else you go in the world, you're going to see typically one race of people, like in that region. So I think that you're right. Like the military is like a small, like microcosm. Like it is the United States just compacted down into one. Like, I mean, everybody's of all different races, speaks, you know, different languages from different areas of the world, different areas of the country. So, I mean, like, I truly believe that like America as a whole is totally just a collective of all other cultures blended.
Let me ask
like,
Norman, where were you from originally?
Southeast Texas, near Bryan College Station. Yeah.
Okay. So what was your perception of what the American culture was when you
like, because I mean, I grew up in a predominantly Hispanic neighborhood. Like, I mean, you know, our family was probably one of the only white families for miles. So like we worked construction. I was on a job site, you know, young, like 5-6 years old. So, I mean, I didn't really see too many other white people, you know what I mean? Like, except for my family. So, I mean, I can kind of identify with what you're saying. Like, I was different, you know, but
somebody would have said, like, you know, if somebody had asked you, like, you know, what is American culture? What defines a United States of America fucking citizen? You know, I'll come back to you on that one.
That's such a hard question, man. Like, I mean, we're having a whole podcast on this one question.
Oh yeah, baby. That's why I love it. Urena, your perception of American culture or identity, what was it when you were young, and is it still the same now as you've grown and gotten older?
Oh man, so like growing up, I grew up by the beach. Like all I knew was the people from my hometown and going to the beach every morning. I thought everybody was a surfer. You're either from San Diego, California, or you were just outside of the loop. Like you didn't exist. Like anytime I saw like a cowboy or whatever, I was like, that was on TV. It wasn't until like I joined the Army, and then like I got introduced to mac and cheese and fucking meatloaf. Like I didn't know what the fuck that was.
Yeah.
And then I didn't have tortillas for the first time, so I'm trying to like use bread as a tortilla. My drill sergeant's like, "What the fuck? Why are you eating with your hands?" I'm like, "I'm used to tortillas. You know, this is how I eat." He felt bad for me. He thought, I don't know. It was awkward, man. Meatloaf was on point. Chili mac was the first time I ever had chili mac when I joined the Army.
So wait, are you saying that the first time that you had any food of other outside of your home was an MRE? Was an MRE box? Because it seems like you're just going through MRE box numbers 1 through 20.
Hey man, hey, like, there was cornbread. I heard about cornbread growing up. Watching TV, I was like, oh, there's this stuff that's out east, you know, outside of the beach. There's this stuff called cornbread, this fucking meatloaf, and like
So-
people sat at the table to eat and talk and shit. And not me. Like I watched TV, ate at the couch. You know, I had Pollo Loco, crazy chicken. You know, that's as far as Tex-Mex as we ever got.
Right.
And, you know, it was a culture shock.
Okay, so did your frame of reference change as you got older? Like, did you change your ideals of like, okay, what is the American identity?
Yeah, because I started seeing everything at, you know, bigger picture, because I was so self-centered, I think, growing up. I thought that everything, like I said, everything revolved around me. You know, my little small slice of the country was more important than what was going on everywhere else. And then as I joined the military and I experienced what other people were experiencing from their states and their problems, I was like, dude, my shit's not even that bad. Like, you know, you guys have a real like poverty, you know, issue with poverty and like housing stuff, and your guys' politics is different. You know, like, why are you guys doing this a certain way? And so I knew that there was a bigger picture, and I try not to judge people and their beliefs and where they're coming from, because everybody has a different upbringing.
Right.
My shit wasn't perfect, obviously, and you know, like, who am I to judge anybody else? And I think that's how I evolved. I got more compassionate to what other people were like having to go through.
Gotcha. Chooks, where you from?
California, just like you, homie.
What part?
Nah, Northern California. I'm actually from Santa Cruz.
Okay. So
Watsonville, born and raised Watsonville, California. It's in Santa Cruz, California.
even in California, we can agree that even in California, you have different fucking cultures there within California itself.
Absolutely.
You know,
Well, my story, I guess, is kind of similar to yours, except when I left my house, like inside my house, I'm Mexican and Puerto Rican. My mom's Puerto Rican, my dad's Mexican. So inside my house was a Hispanic household.
Right.
We were little Puerto Rico or little Mexico inside there. But I grew up, when I stepped out of my house, it wasn't black Mexican gangs. It was white people. I grew up in a very white area. Aptos, California is about as white as it gets.
Damn.
Santa Cruz, California, it's pretty white. So when I stepped out of my house, my apartment complex was all Mexicans. But once you stepped outside of that apartment complex, it was all white. I mean, like 99% white. It was like solid white. I was like the only Mexican, only non-white person in my elementary school. Pretty much the entire time growing up, I was the only one who wasn't white, with the exception of one friend, Carlos. Me and Carlos, the little bit Mexican kids inside the all-white school. And that's kind of what it was. I'd never had chili mac, just off what he's saying. I'd never had chili mac before until I got in the Army. I didn't know what chili mac was. I thought that shit was nasty as hell, because the first time I tried it was the MRE chili mac, which is probably a disservice, because I'm sure there's good chili mac out there, but I'll never try it because I fucking hate it.
got ruined by the MRE.
It ruined me, man.
Not.
But yeah, like my house was the same. It was Little Mexico inside my house, and then I step out and I'm in white land. You know, I mean, nothing but white people, surfers. Santa Cruz, California is a big surfing, skateboarding area. Everybody surfs, and I grew up, right down the street from the beach. So I mean, it wasn't a bad place. It was awesome. I got to live on the beach for the most part. That's where I grew up. That's where I spent my childhood, which is beautiful. But then you get outside of that. I joined the Army, and I come here to Texas, and I'm like, whoa, it's night and day, man. It's different worlds. California compared to Texas is different, and I missed it. I missed it for the longest time. And I always wanted to go back, but now I don't ever want to go back to California, because to me, their culture in California has gone to shit. It's all fucking. I don't know. It's crazy.
Beautiful California is. I will always love Cali. I will always love LA, but it's gone to shit. Because California, you can go to the Big Bear Mountain in December and go fucking snowboarding or skiing if that's your thing. We should just slide on fucking on the trash can lids.
Been there.
All right. Then that same day you can drive down to Venice or Santa Monica and go fucking swim in the Pacific Ocean. Freeze your balls off, but hey, that's just the price you pay. Lee Hunt, question.
We got like a minute left. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you the question. It's gonna give you time to marinate while I send out the thing. So discussing again what our ideas were of American culture as a kid growing up, and then have our views changed on what American culture is, and we're trying to expand on what the fuck is American culture. What is our identity? Everybody, when we get back, we're gonna go ahead and get that answer from Lee Hunt. I gotta go ahead and resend out this message once again. Motherfucker, ball on a budget. So I'll catch y'all in about 2 minutes. All right, I'm gonna send y'all out the link. Time meow.
Word.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is part 2 right here. I'm waiting for everybody to come back in. I want to thank you all for listening, and I'm pretty sure some of y'all probably yelling at your radios or whatever or whatnot. Okay, I don't know why that shit just paused on me, but I'm bringing everybody in. Time meow. And so once again, thank you all for listening to us while we get this shit going here. It's a little bit all over the place, but I think it's doing good. Thank you all for listening. Once again, we're gonna go ahead and pick up. This is part 2, picking up with Lee Hunt, and everybody got fucking scattered around on the fucking on the view. So, all right, Lee Hunt, we ended it with you. All right, and again, it's everybody's perception of what American culture is. Nobody's right. Nobody's saying you're wrong. You know what I mean? It's your perception of your reality. You know what I mean? My perception it was Mr. Belvedere, fucking growing pains. That's what I thought American culture was. You know what I'm saying? So growing up, and has it changed?
Yeah, well, it's definitely changed, especially since like the 80s. But like,
wait, what do you know about the 80s? I mean, you weren't even alive yet.
Brother, hey, I'm an 80s baby, 82. I'm not one of them 87, 88 babies. I was deep 80s.
Come on now. Settle down,
man. But now, so like, growing up in Texas, shout out to the greatest nation on earth. Yeah. But growing up in Texas, man, I grew up watching like Dallas. Like, I don't know if y'all ever remember that shit. But like, yeah, man. So I was like, damn, so this is how white people live. Like, I kind of want to get in on this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I really thought a lot of white people live for the longest, man. And when I seen shit about New York, you know what I'm saying? I was like, and it was just like everybody trying to catch a cab and everybody just grumpy and being dicks. I'm like, damn, everybody in New York just catch cabs. And it wasn't until I was in the Army when I figured out like motherfuckers from New York actually had license. And I was like, holy shit, y'all don't catch cabs in the subway? Like, I thought that's all you motherfuckers did. You know what I'm saying? This shit blew my fucking mind. Now, as far as like the mac and cheese, man, listen, y'all definitely in the right place. Y'all in the South, go get y'all some mac and cheese. Good to go. Some mac and cheese, some collard greens, some cornbread. Y'all good to go. You know what I'm saying?
See, and that right there is, you can say that's a Southern culture type deal, right?
Yeah.
And that we can say is American culture, then, right? That would be American food, I guess, right?
It's one of the many American, but I don't know. Okay, so man, it's crazy because like earlier I talked about like the Greeks bringing over their food, and the Mexicans, even though they were here and we kicked them out or whatever, and they came back in, bringing their food and shit. The Italians bringing their food, the Polacks, but I do believe like there's some certain things like from the South that originated. They had their history or whatever, and then we flip it around, we turn it around as American people, and everybody enjoys those dishes today.
Well, I mean, yeah, don't get it twisted. We all know about the big stain on America's fucking history. We just don't fucking dwell on it. So fucking I see Arena gave me this awkward look. Go ahead, pimp.
I think I just realized from what he said, we are, and then from earlier, we are a young country. That was mentioned. We're making that culture as we go along. The one thing that unites us, these holidays when we celebrate Thanksgiving different ways, but we all sit at the table, have turkey. That's an American thing. Other countries do Thanksgiving as well, but our Thanksgiving, we all know that we have a turkey. This is why we do it, and we eat a ton of food. A good time to bring the family over. 4th of July weekend, we all know we're gonna hit the beach. We're gonna go do a barbecue. That's about as American as it gets. Like that is American culture right there. It doesn't seem like a lot because we're a young country, you know, like like I said, we're still trying to figure this shit out, and we're working out on it as we go along. But you know, those things are that it doesn't get any more American than that.
And now I'm gonna throw a fucking monkey wrench into that fucking gear that you had going so well. While those traditions are great and they're traditions that we carry on as Americans, granted, it wasn't my fucking forefathers that came from motherfucking on the Mayflower, right? But now that's being canceled because, like you were saying earlier, that fucking don't give me that look of how that's being canceled. You're gonna tell me that you haven't heard Thanksgiving trying to be canceled because it should be Indigenous Day, because we massacred the Indians. No,
that's why they say happy holidays now instead of Merry Christmas.
But you know what? It's still a day, right? Like it's not like the day is getting removed. It's like even though the event gets canceled, something's still happening in that day. You know, it's a happy non-Thanksgiving day. You know, alternative. But something is still occurring on that day. You know, that is a symbol of our like protest, you know, because we are a country that likes to protest shit for no fucking reason. Amen. But we protest things. And even though we cancel that day, we're still going to celebrate that day as a victory to cancellation. Like it's American. At the end of the day, it's American.
You're right. And I mean, it's true. And, you know, as funny as it sounds, but our culture has become now cancel culture, you know, within America. We love to do that shit. And Lee Hunt, you can roll your eyes all you want.
No. I want to hear from my man too. I want to hear from my man too.
On Facebook. You got canceled on Facebook.
I did.
Right? They put you in jail. Is that not a sign of cancel culture?
No, because the left eats their own. They have no other choice. They run out of people and they start.
I'm just saying, we become a nation of cancel culture and we can become a culture of pussies. Well, that's what it's evolving to. But back in the day, my perception of it, you know, is that these people came over here. I keep going back that they came over here to start a new nation. And they worked their asses off to build this nation. It's not like they had it fucking easy, you know, and it was all gravy. It's like when my parents came to the United States. They didn't have it easy when they first came here. They worked their motherfucking asses off day and fucking night to provide a better life for me. So that's why those motherfuckers left their countries, not because they were going to have a better life, but for their fucking families and futures to have a better life. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's American culture right there. That drive to fucking succeed. You know, that drive to fucking protest, like Urena said, even if it's counterculture, you know, even if it's against, that's one of the fucking things that's beautiful about this country, that we can protest. All right? There's a difference between protesting and fucking burning down a building.
No, I got you. But like you said, we can do it. We can protest whoever or whatever the fuck we want to do it, as long as we do it right.
Exactly.
And
but
no matter
never do it right though. You never do it right. And then, you guys burn
and no matter who we choose to protest or what we choose to protest, it's our God-giving right. It's the first one out of all of them. So that lets you know how important it is that we have a voice as Americans. As Americans, it's important that we have a voice in this country, that we don't have to live under the umbrella of one person, one family, one organization dictating to us how we one religion dictating to us how we have to live in this country.
That's why this country was founded, right?
Exactly. And like I said, man, I am a born again Christian. And I know y'all see me drinking, and that might sound like an oxymoron, but it's not strong drink. And the Bible even talked about drinking wine is good for the belly. Semicolon, however, comma, besides the point. We are a nation that can do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I can protest this because I don't like it, who are you to jump on me and tell me I'm wrong for protesting this? Because
it goes
nobody's going to jump on you.
No, but it goes the other way as well. You know what
you're right, it does.
It goes both ways. It's like a motherfucking dyke. It go like a lesbian, bro. It goes both, or I'm sorry, a bisexual. It goes both ways.
Yes, and people don't realize that, and that's what's messed up. If I don't like, say I don't like person A, but this person is like supporting person A, I can't get mad at person 2 for supporting person A. Like, I have to understand that he has the right to do that, and I got to let this person do that, support this person, even though I don't like him. Because if I have the right not to like this person, this person has a right to like that person.
Well, then maybe the problem is that the left and in to break it down even farther, BLM, they have no idea what the fuck a peaceful protest is. Just what last weekend down in Austin, they went to an intersection and blocked off all sections of that road. No permit. That's not a protest, man. You're breaking the fucking law. And they're down there with fucking guns, ARs, down there in the middle of an intersection illegally, stopping cars, not allowing anybody. So that is not a fucking peaceful protest.
All
man.
right.
Yeah, look it up. It happened down in Austin.
Now, so let's revert back a little bit. And see, this is wonderful
That is not
about
a peaceful
culture.
protest, bro.
Now I'm gonna go into a subculture right now. I'm gonna go into a subculture here. The subculture within the military. I'm gonna go into that subculture because we are a subculture in the military. You know what's wonderful about our subculture? A lot of motherfuckers that are watching this probably think that Lee Hunt and Elijah Machuca here must have some kind of animosity towards each other. Little do they know that these two motherfuckers are basically gay lovers without sharing a penis. They like to dock without docking. You know what I'm saying? And only y'all don't know yet, but on the Gunline podcast, we'll be producing the He Said, Lee Said podcast featuring Elijah Machuca and Lee Hunt about who's right and who's left. Oh, anyways, so with that being said, man,
Dang, dang.
let's go ahead and revert backwards. Norman, as the only white guy here, I'm not going to try to pick on you too much, but I'm going to tell you something.
I use seasoning.
Here's the thing. What do you think?
I use seasoning, so
Okay, just because you throw a little bit of salt and it's
no.
He used Goya.
Yeah. Hey,
No, well-
fucking, we'll talk about seasonings later.
Yes, we will, because that is another American thing. So no, like a lot of I'll tell you what, for example, like in the Hispanic culture, and this is one thing, I think I've told Urena this before. One thing that really gets on my fucking nerves is my people when they say, like I'm talking to them in Spanish because that's what I work. I'm an interpreter, right? When my people say, when I ask them, can you describe the person that hit your car? The first thing they'll say is like, oh, es un americano. So they'll say he's an American. And automatically, I already know they're talking about a white guy because they didn't say es un negro or es un chino. Es un americano. And, in a way, I get what they're saying, but it's also offensive because the first thing people think of when they think American is white. And I'm not trying to get this racial again. It's just that that's the way people think. You know what I'm saying? And I was one of those. And that was my perception of American culture, was living the white way, because I thought that's what I saw on the tube. You know what I'm saying? So, but in your dynamic, the way you grew up, you were saying, was different. You grew up around a lot of Mexicans, right? So did you see that maybe the way you were growing up was not the traditional American way?
I don't think so. I mean, especially like, like growing up in Southeast Texas and then growing up around construction and farm work and all of that. Like, I mean, like it was just my family, that was like around there, Okay. So I think like for me, honestly, like it was just about, working hard and providing for your family, which that's a big deal in Hispanic culture. So, I mean, really, like I would see shit like on TV, like you're saying, like, like especially in like College Station or like Caldwell or any of those little like little Polish or Czech towns that were around there. I mean, yeah, they were all white. And it was almost different. Like it seemed like they had a different agenda, like the way that they spoke and the way that they operated. It was not what I was used to, as far as like, you wake up in the morning, the sun's still away, you get to work and you don't go home till the sun goes down. Like, and that really wasn't a thing outside of my immediate family or the culture I was in.
Machuca, let me ask you one thing. Name something that is uniquely American culture, like uniquely American culture that you think is American culture, unique to the United States.
Man, I don't know. That's a rough one.
I'm gonna come back to you on that.
On the spot. Yeah, come on.
All right, Hunt, what do you got?
I want to say baseball, man, because it's been around so long, but I can't say if I can really honestly trace those roots back. But
The mind's have been in baseball.
Because it's like baseball is just something that's like, okay, when you think about baseball, you think about the 19 whatever Yankees, and you think about Babe Ruth. That's what you kind of typically think about, and it's like this huge American thing. You know what I mean?
Okay, I like that. I like that answer. Actually, I like that answer really a lot. But if you say that to a Dominican or Cuban, they'll fucking slap you silly. They'll say that.
Yeah. Papi.
Papi, estás loco, coño. How about you, Urena? What do you think is something uniquely American?
We are confident peoples. Like I've talked to somebody from like a different country before, and this lady said, you know, you Americans, you guys have this confidence to you that you don't really see here, like in England, and certain countries approach like issues and stuff kind of like, oh, I'm used to it, you know, just another day, it's shitty. England, for instance, like it's always gloomy, it's always cloudy, the sun's never out, people are just like naturally depressed. You know, that's how it's been articulated to me by people that live there, and just from the demeanor I've seen when I've ever like visited. And so me being the American or whatever, I'll stand in line in the queue or whatever, waiting for some, like at KFC, just excited to be there. I just have a smile on my face, and it's kind of like, you know, what the fuck are you so happy about? You know, I don't know. I'm just, you know, I'm here to get the number 5. I'm trying to get some tickets.
Talking about
fucking, I'm happy to be here. You know, I'm alive. And other countries don't approach life like that. We're just like we're fucking winners. That's what we are, man. Like we're just a culture that thrives on winning. Everything we've done, the Olympics, competitively, everybody knows that Americans show up and they're either going to win some shit, be obnoxious fucking winners, because that's all we, you know, that's what we're used to. We grew up from like saying that we took the best of democracy and made it better. That's what forms our government. We took all these pieces from different people's governments and all this crazy shit. We just made it better. And that gives us this arrogant cockiness that you don't see anywhere else. You know, like you go to Canada and they're like, fuck, you know, I'm just here. Our flag's red.
So with that, I like that answer. I think that there's a difference between confidence and cockiness. I damn sure think that Americans are fucking confident. And I think that Cat Williams was right when he said we're a bunch of fucking bullies. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody fucks with us. You know what I'm saying? We're the country that says, I wish you would, motherfucker. You know, not I wish. We're the ones that say, I wish a motherfucker would. All right, not I hope not. You know,
we might not win a war. Our track record isn't so good, in, you know, in the last 50 years, but we'll just destabilize the fuck out of your country. Like,
oh yeah,
we will like send you back to the Stone Age. You might kick our ass in some guerrilla warfare shit, but we're gonna set you back in that process. We're gonna make sure that you remember us. You know, like
we're gonna counterinsurgency.
We're trying to siphon some fucking gas from the ground and shit to fill up your fucking bongo truck. You know, like we're gonna make sure you remember, and you're gonna say some cool American fucking catchphrases in the meantime, because we told you when you were 5, hey, say fuck you, and you know, teach you how to flip the bird and shit. You don't remember us.
I remember this little motherfucking Haji was like, America, give me $1. I'm like, I ain't got no money. He's like, well, fuck you, America. Last motherfucker, you lucky I don't throw a goddamn frozen water bottle at you.
With your broke ass.
Right? Go back begging, motherfucker. Anyways, but you know what? I appreciate this. I really like this conversation. It's going all over the place, just like it would on the Gunline. And
are we going back to Chooks with his
let me get back.
I was about to, you know, thanks for I was trying to, you know, bring down the tone a little bit and take it back to him. And then we'll come back to you, Lee Hunt.
Well, actually, it took all you guys giving your answers for me to kind of realize. All right, so a uniquely American thing, and this is something that most people will never understand. And I can say it to you guys, and I know you guys understand because you guys are deployed. You guys have been to other countries, been around the world. But a uniquely American trait is privilege. And it's something that we take for fucking granted constantly, because it doesn't matter how fucking poor you are here in the United States. For the majority, you could be pretty much dirt fucking poor, and you are still way better off than pretty much everybody in the majority of the countries that we've all visited. And it doesn't matter. You see people over there and they're like, oh, this is the rich sheik. Let's go over to his village and he's got the money. And you go there and it's like this hovel of mud and twigs holding it together. And this is the guy who's privileged over there.
Right.
And that's like worse situations than like the worst flea-ridden motel here.
But we still have toilet paper.
Privilege, and we have people who are like, "Oh, Americans, how we have it so bad, the underprivileged, and blah blah blah." But these motherfuckers don't know that in other places in the world, just being able to get a little scrap of food and a little sip of water is like the highlight of the week or the highlight of the day. But for here, we take water, all the scraps. So how much food do you guys throw away at every meal?
Bro,
how much water do you guys just toss because it gets a little bit warm?
We have the healthiest homeless motherfucking population in the world. These are some healthy fat motherfuckers.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're right. I'll give you that one. You are right. And again, I think that a lot of our biases in culture has to do with our surroundings. We only know as far as our borders go. If you've never gone out of LA, you don't know what the valley looks like. If you've never been out of California, you don't know what fucking Oklahoma's like. You know what I'm saying? What the landscape is like there. It's just what I'm just so like in my thoughts, bro. I'm like completely still trying to wrap up our identity. And the one thing that does bring all Americans together, one thing that we kick ass at, and this was brought to me, shout out to Kay, is cars. Cars is one thing that no matter what race you are in America, not one race has better than the other. Mexicans, lowriders. All right. Black folks throwing those 24s on a fucking yeah, you know what I'm saying? No. Fucking you got white folks with the motherfucking rat rods. Fucking
you watch your mouth now.
Corvettes. White people in Corvettes.
No.
Corvette.
Or restoring old vehicles, an old 60s fucking Chevy truck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what?
I'll allow that.
Every single one of those cars is beautiful. So if it's one thing that we all come around, is it has to do with the arts and fucking that's uniquely American, I think. That in American music, I think is unique.
Graffiti too. Like if like anywhere else in the world, like graffiti is unique to America. Like, I mean, like sure you got like people like Banksy or whatever, but go to LA, look at all the graffiti, and then go to like London and look at the graffiti. It's night and day.
Are you talking about wild art?
Yeah.
Okay, graffiti art. I got you. I mean, like just regular taggers on the streets. I'm like,
well, yeah. No. I mean, even still, like just the taggers.
Okay.
It's different.
Right on. But what I like is that going back to this melting pot theory, this melting pot is what gave us fucking hip hop, what gave us motherfucking country, what gave us fucking rockabilly. You know what I'm saying? So we are still struggling to find this identity. And I think that until we separate what is Black culture, what is white culture, and it's not even white culture, it's European culture, and then you have to fucking separate what is once we get the division of those cultures and just call it American culture, then we'll have our identity. But until we do that, go ahead, Irina. You're thinking. I see that thinking face.
No, to go back to music and stuff, if you look at the inspiration behind all the big genres of music, like hip hop, what is hip hop? It's rebelling against the government, the injustices of the government. It's speech on, it's commentary on, like, I don't agree with the way law enforcement works or the government works, so I'm gonna use my language to portray that emotion. Bluegrass, during the moonshine, the prohibition era and stuff, there was music that evolved into bluegrass and then became country over time. Rock and roll music, it was forbidden to move your hips a certain way, so it was a rebellious art form. Everything that all our art, music, and all that stuff is born from rebellion. That is another American thing that kind of sets us apart from everybody else. Everybody around the world just copies us. Movies, all the other shit, everybody copies us, and the way we create shit is because we don't agree with something, and we want to fucking speak our minds, and then we invent stuff.
You know what? I'm gonna write that down as part of American culture. I think the number one thing would be rebellion, because we always rebel against something, and whether it's pro this or anti that, it's a rebellion in some way or another. So I like rebellion. So far we got rebellion, we got business mindset, and
Mac and cheese.
okay, why do they say shit like as American as apple pie? That shit ain't even American. That shit's fucking English. Anyway.
Listen, I could kill for some apple pie right now. Like, I'm gonna settle down and I'm gonna actually find me a woman instead of just beating down these
Don't
streets.
lie. Don't lie to us, bro.
You
You belong to the streets.
Don't find yourself a liberal woman because she probably has a dick.
No, man. Listen, I'm not gonna listen. I am this close to being done with. I'm not gonna catch heat for this. I'm this close to being done with my Spanish women. Like, I know I grew up in West Texas. All right. The thing for my Spanish women.
One.
I'm about done with y'all because hey, somebody ruined your Latin women for me. I'm about done with y'all, motherfucker.
Well, don't worry, because once they go black, we don't want them back. So I don't know who you're gonna send them.
Hey, trust me. Hey, you know what? I ain't gonna get on it. I ain't gonna get on it. I ain't gonna do it. But somebody been having on black. Hey, somebody bed done seen more black dick than Africa.
So you know what I do like about our culture, though, about the American culture. The more I think about it,
Like that shit, Serena.
Yeah, man.
what I do like about our American culture is how, like it says, "E pluribus unum," right? Out of many, one. I mean, that's really what we are, right? Out of many, one. So, in the infancy that this country is in, all right, go ahead, Urena. Go ahead.
No. I'm sorry, man. I latch on to certain things, man. He said,
Catching on like a titty.
no, yeah, I'm not gonna repeat what he said, man.
Go ahead and repeat what you said, Lee Hunt, for those that missed.
That shit was funny, man. No.
I said somebody's bed done seen more black dick than Africa. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. Like,
Damn.
that's all I can say. So I'm going with that. So I'm going with that, but it is what it is.
Well, with that said, what else is American? Malt liquor
These nuts.
in your chin.
I can't believe we haven't mentioned jazz yet. Like, and all that talk about music, like jazz, like that's the one music genre that is like completely uniquely American. Like everything else has been, it was drawn from their culture somewhere else, and then they took inspiration from where they were from and brought it up. But like jazz is uniquely New Orleans, like that's what it is where it came from, so.
I mean, I guess I'm not going to say that I'm a fan of jazz. I just don't listen to it very much. So that's why I couldn't speak too much on it. But yeah, you're right. That is a type of music that was fucking hip back in the 40s. You know what I'm saying? And prior to, I'll tell you what, I think that the American culture is ever evolving. You go from the mountain men and the hillbillies in the Ozarks that they would tell their folklore fucking stories with a banjo, which the banjo came from Africa. You know what I'm saying? And fucking, but you didn't know that, digitally, Hunt. And fucking go ahead.
I mean, I may have known it, but other people are gonna be like, "Oh, here you go, spreading this African liberal."
I'm just saying, I'm bringing shit together as far as like where it goes to. So, and from that, it evolved to fucking to rock and roll, to rockabilly. Bluegrass is rockabilly derived from bluegrass and shit like that in country music. You know what I'm saying? And then from that, of course, I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm trying to find shit that's American, brothers, that is uniquely made by us. It's all of our cultures. Like my people, what did we bring? Fucking pupusas. I don't know if y'all ever ate pupusas or not, but that's some good motherfucking eating.
Y'all brought them chicks with them nice fupas. There's some tasty chalupas under them fupas.
Fucking much. Oh man, this motherfucker. Go ahead, Chukas. What do you got?
Oh, shit. I was gonna say, man, just the fact that that all of us, the five of us, can sit here and have this conversation right now. Obviously, we're not in the same room, but we're all having this conversation together. To me, that says everything you need to know about like where we're at right now. We got all different races, all different backgrounds, all different parts of the country, but here we are. We all serve the same purpose. We all fought for our country. We all sacrificed long periods of our life, put ourselves at risk because we believe in the American dream and American beliefs, the Constitution, and we're able to sit here and have this conversation. We don't agree. I don't agree with Hunt on 99% of the shit that comes out of his mouth, but I still love him. I still die for him, and that's American, man. I know that he was for the same cause that I was. Whether he came from a different background or not, we still were at a moment in time. We had the same beliefs, the same opinions, and we're fighting the same fight.
Right.
So just the fact that we can all do that together, that's America right there. To me, that's we're us having this conversation, talking about what it is to be American. That's America. We are everything. We are. Doesn't matter. You can do, say, be whatever you want here now with whoever you want, and that's America. Like we're talking it. We're doing it right now. This is America right now.
So, I mean, I don't mean to cut you off there, but yeah, no. So like, I mean, right after 9/11, like, remember how how unified the nation was, like, especially New Yorkers, like just the pride that everyone had, that, we went through something, so awful, and then, turned that into something positive, like backing, our troops and, everything that went on during that, year and a half, like how unified everybody was. I mean, when I think of what America is, it was that specific period in time, like 2002, 2003, because everybody was so, organized and together, and everybody was willing to listen to each other. Everybody came together, for the country. So I think that specific point in time, to me, is American culture.
January 2020, when we're all in this together, that didn't last very long.
I tell you one thing that is uniquely fucking American as well. We'll talk shit about each other's politics and each other's president. Like, I will talk shit about Barack Obama all day long, but I let a motherfucking foreigner talk shit about my president. Who the fuck are you, guy? You ain't even in my country. Get the motherfucker out. That's my president. I'll talk shit about him. You know what I mean?
Even go here.
Yeah. Can you even vote, motherfucker? Fuck out of here.
I agree, except they can talk about Biden all they want because that's a weak motherfucker. That is a weak, not just a president. That's a weak man. That's a weak individual. Look what he's fucking doing to our country right now. We're a disgrace because of him. They're laughing. The world's laughing at us right now. What is he doing?
We're gonna get with this offline.
None of it makes sense.
Urena. Let's go to you, Urena.
Oh man, what do you want from me, man?
He's trying to break the ice up a little bit. That's what he's trying to do.
All right. So, we're gonna start wrapping this up because I only got a few minutes left. I don't know if you guys can see the timer, but
7 minutes.
Huh?
7 minutes.
Oh, it does show you the timer too?
Yeah. Yep. 7 minutes.
So, motherfuckers, y'all got me rushing over here. Y'all see that shit? Look, y'all, no, honestly, I think it's been a great, at least for not an eye opener, but I hope that a topic of interest for people to start talking. Like, what is it? What does it mean to be an American? What does it mean? What separates us from the rest of the fucking world? Go ahead, Hunt.
You know what it means? It means two old friends that believe opposite things now. They can still come together, still won't degrade each other, won't curse each other out, won't badmouth each other, still have a good time, still be able to, like, you know what, fuck it. Let's go out and get a steak. Let's go out and get a beer. That's what fucking America is. And like Chuck knows, like, I don't give a fuck how much we disagree on certain things. Chooks, if you ever come to Killeen, we fucking going out to eat and I'm paying for that motherfucker. If I ever go to San Antonio, hey, brother,
technically,
deal, you know what I'm saying?
Hold on. Technically, we're paying for that motherfucker because you don't work. You're getting paid off of my tax.
I go to school though. I do go to school. But yes, thank y'all for the meal.
But, no, all jokes aside, you're right. My wife, she tripped out when we had the great debate. Y'all remember that when we had the great debate last year? Like my wife tripped out how at the end, after we had that discussion and all, how you were like, hey, Chooks, let me get with you after this. I got some shit I want to talk to you about. And she was like, yeah, man, I got you. And if anybody took anything away from that podcast, I wanted it to be that even after all that shit going back and forth, at the end, we just fucking moved on. You know what I'm saying? And you're right. That is our culture here in America. We could agree to disagree and go tell each other to go fuck ourselves. And then right after be like, hey, what's up, dog? Let's get a brew. You know what
it should be. What it should be.
It should. Unfortunately, it's not. Norman, final thoughts, American culture.
America. So yeah, definitely the pride that we have in our nation, the pride that we have as individuals. Side thought, real quick. Sure. If any of you have ever lived in Colorado, these fucking white people don't season their food at all. Like bring your fucking, like hot sauce. Like for real, this shit is disgusting. Just so you know, go out to any restaurant, they're not seasoning it. Period. Dude, it's bland as fuck.
You need to go to the fucking to the Brazilian steakhouse that's up on Powers. It's on Powers, right?
Yeah, by that it's on the Air Force side, right? In the Northeast.
Okay.
It's over there by fucking by what's it called? Red Brick, I think it was called. The drinking place. The old Chicago. Okay. It's right there in that same old Chicago complex.
It's north of the Air Force Base.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Got it. I just wrote it down. We're good. I'm going there.
Yeah, go to that fucking. It's a motherfucking Brazilian place. Them motherfuckers get down. They keep bringing you.
Okay.
Until you flip over that little fucking thing, bro. If you don't flip that bitch on red, they gotta keep bringing you fucking meat, cutting that bitch right in front of you, bro.
I'm telling you, you want seasoning, you go to Denver. Like there's nothing here really.
See, you're different because you grew up around Mexican, so you know what real food tastes like.
That's true.
So I guess that's one thing that is European culture. Y'all don't use seasoning, man.
Apparently they don't know.
Hey, man, it really has been an honor. Chooks, last thoughts on American culture. Political, if you want, go ahead.
All right, I always do.
Sure.
Yeah, first and foremost, I just want to say I appreciate you guys having this discussion. Appreciate you guys talking, opinions, thoughts, honesty. I love America. I hate what's happening to it right now. And normally this is where I would jump on Hunt and be like, I hate what the left is doing to it right now. But it's really not. It's not just the left. It's to me right now, social justice. All these social justice warriors are really what's kind of deteriorating everything. Because you can't say anything these days without offending somebody, without somebody crying about something. And as soon as that happens, then they go to the cancel culture, which we kind of talked about earlier. So all these SJWs who got their panties up in a bunch about anything that you fucking say that disagrees with their ideology, they immediately cry. Then they send out their fucking little pussy signal, their pussy vibes, and get everybody to try and cancel it. And to me, that's what's kind of deteriorating right now.
That's anti-American culture.
Exactly. But I still love all y'all. I appreciate you guys. Hunt. Fuck Biden.
All right, Jesse Arena. Final.
And one more thing.
Yeah.
This is strictly for Hunt. Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization. They are disgusting as an organization. They don't know what the fuck peacefully marching, peacefully assembling is. So you could say what you want about going out and protesting, but that's not what they do. They go out and they riot and steal Jordans, they burn buildings.
All right, we got that. You get the last word, Hunt.
Urena.
Yeah, Urena.
All right, hey. I live the life that I enjoy because I try to stay in the middle, man. I criticize both sides equally. My biggest concern right now is social media, and I think what they control and regulate is a bigger threat to both sides at the end of the day. And everybody thinks that each side think that it's on their side, but it's really not. And it doesn't take much for a foreign government to kind of seize that opportunity and insert themselves into our division and create a bigger rift. So I think that is where I think we need to unite and really focus on social media.
Hunt, you're up. You got 45 seconds.
Listen, once again,
Come at me, bro.
if you call somebody a friend in the past and they haven't said anything racial to you or anything, despite of what they do and don't agree with you with, that's still your friend. Once they cross that line of where it's racial, then that's when you kind of like got to look at them sideways or whatever. But other than that, Chooks, check your phone real quick. I need you to check your phone, check your Instagram. Other than that, hey, thank you for having us on here. Lopez, it's back to you. Hey, look at them guns.
All right, I got 15 seconds to tell you all. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate y'all being here on the Gunline. Norman, Hunt, Chooks, Urena, thank y'all for being here. I hope that you guys enjoyed this out there in the podcast world. I hope we get more than 100 motherfucking views. Love, piece of hair. I don't know when this bitch started talking to me, and I hated that she does it.
That was just me.
Nah, dude. So check it out. We just finished wrapping up the podcast about American culture. It went a little diverted more than what I wanted it to go to, but I guess it's because it's difficult to pinpoint what American culture is. How do you think that meeting went?
I thought it was pretty good, man. It's a good reflection of different opinions, because obviously, like, different people had different views. I like to think that I'm in the middle. Some people like to think that they're on the right, and some people like to think that they're on the left and stuff. So, what people just saw was a good snapshot of our diversity, in action. It's hard to have a conversation where we're all going to agree with each other, because we're all very passionate. And I think that's another thing that you would see is, everybody's passionate about their beliefs and their views and stuff. I'm very passionate about what I think. So what I told people about earlier, there's a lot of truth to that, and I have a lot of emotion invested in that. And some of the other guests, they felt the same way.
I believe, and for those that are watching this post-credit scenes, Urena is one of my co-hosts. That's why he's here versus the rest of the crew, because he's one of my co-hosts. Dowden would be here as well. But yeah, dude. So all in all, the biggest consensus that I got was that American culture as it stands right now is we're a bunch of rebellious, prideful, business-minded, confident, passionate motherfuckers. That's basically what we are. And if you wanted to see American culture in living color, you just watched it right now for the past fucking hour. So I really hope that you all enjoyed this. I think it's definitely going to be a topic that we might revisit, whether it be the subcultures that, make what American culture is. Subcultures being like the greasers, being like skinheads, being the cholos, and when I say skinheads, I'm talking about the traditional skinheads, the oys, not the motherfucking boneheads that are racist. And if you don't know what the difference is between those two, go check out and do some fucking research of where the real skinheads came from and what they were all about. All right. They're not racist, or not. They weren't originally until, there was, do your research and you'll understand what I'm saying. But traditional skinheads, oi. Gotcha. All right, Urena, I appreciate you being here as always, buddy. How's Doge doing?
It's on its way to the moon. It had to take a U-turn because it had to make a pit stop at Buc-ee's because the Shibu dogs had to take a piss. But everybody's back in the car and is going straight to the moon.
Right on. Well, y'all, what are we gonna talk about next week, man? Next week, for crosstalk, what should we go with? We've got to choose these people.
I don't know. I'm having a big existential issue with our place in the world, so really? I'm gonna be stuck on that and the whole simulation theory for a good minute.
Do me a favor, do some research on it, and preach it to me. Make me a believer in the simulation theory.
Oh, you got it. You'll be looking for plugs and USB ports inside of you. Trust me.
All right, let's see if he makes it happen, y'all. Once again, I appreciate y'all listening to us. That was an abrupt ending there because I ran out of time, but now I can do it confidently with time. Rounds complete. End of mission. Gunline out. Bye, y'all. Dude. God damn it, it's still recording.